Hello buns, and welcome back to Cinnabun Sundays, our weekly video series where we talk about all things bunny. I'm a little biased, but I think that rabbits are the superior pet. Obviously, I think this way because I own a rabbit. This is the only pet that I own, so I made the decision to bring a rabbit into my life. In the last decade or so, rabbit ownership has become very popular. When I was growing up, rabbits were really known to be animals that live in cages, kind of like starter pets. They would be class pets, and we just didn't fully understand the care that a rabbit really needs. But as social media has grown, as everyone's understanding of what rabbits need has grown, rabbits have become a pretty popular pet. They're actually the third most popular pet in the United States after cats and dogs. So if you have clicked on this video because you are wanting to know if you should get a rabbit or not, hopefully this video helps you make that decision. Because in my opinion, the best way to make a decision is to make a pros and cons list. So today we are going to weigh out all of the amazing qualities that rabbits can bring in your life, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat the negative qualities that rabbits can bring, because there definitely are pros and cons to rabbit ownership, and hopefully by the end of this video you will know if a rabbit is the right pet for you, or maybe you should just keep scrolling and looking at them on Instagram. So I feel like we should end this video on a good note, so let's start with the cons of rabbit ownership. Even though they're a fairly popular pet, rabbits are classified as exotic animals, which means that they are just harder to find treatment for. You typically cannot bring a rabbit to a standard vet. You need to find a vet that specializes in exotics, and that can just be an extra level of difficulty, especially if you don't live in a big city where there are just more vets. Vets can look at your rabbit and treat them to an extent, but if they don't have a full understanding of a rabbit's GI systems and their care, they're not going to be able to provide the care that they need. Also, they just won't have the equipment necessary to spay your rabbit, neuter your rabbit, or provide surgery if your rabbit goes into stasis. Another factor of them being a less popular animal is that there's just less stuff that you can find easily available for your rabbit. When you go to a pet store, there's still a lot of things marketed for rabbits that just simply are not right for rabbits. I'm looking at you, tiny little metal cages and tiny little triangle litter boxes. The dog and cat section will be enormous with a ton of different toys and options, where the rabbit section is typically one aisle and half of the toys aren't even good for rabbits. Now, if you are someone who likes to travel all of the time, a rabbit might not be the best option for you because they can be really difficult to travel with or leave behind. Travel in general is just more complicated with a rabbit. Most pet sitters understand how to take care of dogs and cats. There are even kennels where you can drop dogs or cats off if you're going out of town and don't have someone to watch them, but that really isn't as much of an option for rabbit owners. I really don't trust anybody but my family to watch Cinnabun because she has such a different care schedule than what anybody else is used to. So whenever I leave her behind, I always just have a layer of stress. And as far as traveling with Cinnabun, rabbits typically don't travel well. Now, some rabbits can travel and become more adaptable, but as an overarching fact, rabbits really like their routine and like their space. So anytime you travel with them, you are removing them from that space, and it just becomes more stressful. And oftentimes stress can lead to GI stasis, which can really hurt your rabbit. Rabbits are also prey animals, which means that they are so good at hiding if they don't feel well. A lot of times you won't even know if your rabbit is sick until they are too sick to move. This can mean that something as small as some stress or just a tiny tummy ache can go from bad to worse very quickly. You have to be an extremely vigilant animal owner to own a rabbit. You can't just feed them whatever. You can't just be loud and make a lot of sounds and terrify them all the time, because they're very sensitive and they probably won't even show you that they're uncomfortable or in pain until it's too late. Now, if you've had a puppy in the past, you know all about the teething stage. Unfortunately, rabbits never grow out of that stage. Rabbits' teeth never stop growing, so they always have the desire to chew. And unfortunately, a lot of times they are chewing on your stuff. Baseboards, furniture, phone cables, anything at their eye level that just is easy enough for them to bite is in danger from your rabbit. So that means that you're going to have a lot of cable covers and things covering things throughout your home. That might not be super pretty because it's either that or your rabbit chews up your house. Now the last con on my list is that typically rabbits are not super snuggly. Because of that prey animal instinct, they are less likely to trust right off the bat. So picking up your rabbit and cuddling them all the time is something that comes with usually years of bonding. If you're looking for a pet that you can just scoop up off the ground all of the time, snuggle, grab onto, carry around everywhere, I might not look to a rabbit for that. But now that the negatives are out of the way, let's talk about why rabbits really are such an incredible pet to have. Number one, rabbits are silent. It is amazing not having to deal with an animal that meows or barks or just makes noise at all. The loudest noise that they make is probably when they're digging in their litter box. It's very nice, it's very peaceful, and it doesn't disrupt any guests. Rabbits also don't need to be let out ever. Where with a dog, you need to let them out to go to the bathroom and you need to take them on a walk every day. With a rabbit, as long as they're free roam and have their litter box, that's all the exercise and bathroom time that they need. They can manage on their own, which means if you're going to be out of the house for an extended period of time, they will be totally fine and not need you to come home to let them out. Rabbits are also really great for if you're living in a smaller space. I got Cinnabun when we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and that was plenty of room for her to free roam and play. Cinnabun is 4 pounds. She does not need acres of space. She is not a big giant dog that's gonna bump into furniture or knock things over. So whether you have a really big house or just a small studio apartment, rabbits are pretty easy to fit into whatever space you have. This next one I say with like a big asterisk next to it, but rabbits are relatively inexpensive. I'm going to remove vet bills from this equation because when an emergency occurs, vet bills are vet bills and they typically are expensive. As far as daily maintenance for a rabbit goes, you don't need to take a rabbit to the groomer. Their food is pretty cheap and 1 bag of food will last you like 3 months. Hay can be bought in bulk and is very inexpensive, and their litter, not bad at all. You don't need to worry about buying them expensive food that's made with meat and all of these things that can really cost a lot. As long as you can get like a bag of lettuce and your hay and grains, your rabbit's gonna be good to go. And overall, I find rabbits to be pretty low maintenance on the scale of pet ownership. I mentioned not having to go to the groomers. You can groom your rabbit yourself in your own living room and it takes 10 minutes. It's not hard at all as long as you have the right brush. Playing with your rabbit is as simple as sitting on the floor and just talking to them and spending time with them. And as long as you keep an eye on their daily health and keep up with their yearly vet checkups, they're pretty easy to manage in that department. They're a great addition to your home and family, especially if you're looking for a pet that isn't going to be knocking things over and crashing into things and making a lot of noise and scaring your guests. They're just adorable little fluff balls that like to sit on the ground and watch TV with you. So there you go, Buns. That is my list of pros and cons of rabbit ownership. Now, of course, this was very rudimentary and there are definitely deeper levels to everything that I have said. But if you have any questions that are more specific about anything that I said, I have a ton of videos on my channel all about what it means to take care of a rabbit. So hopefully those videos can help you out, especially once you bring your little rabbit home. I hope this video was helpful and I wish you the best of luck if you are embarking on a rabbit ownership journey. It is so special and so magical, and I hope that you love your rabbit as much as Cinnabun loves her litter box. That's it for me, Buns. I will see you in our next video. Bye, Buns.